Well, everyone, welcome to AI Movies Review, and I'm here to review Night Swim, the new horror film coming your way from Blumhouse and Atomic Monster, when they're still two separate companies, but now they're one. But this particular film is based off of a short film from Bryce McGuire and Blackhurst, who adapted it into a feature-length film. And Bryce McGuire directed this particular film. And this film focuses on a family whose father, played by Wyatt Russell, is a baseball player who's dealing with MS, the wife, played by Carrie Condon, who is trying to keep things together, and they have their two kids, Izzy and Elliot, played by Amelia Hoferl and Gavin Warren, and you have Izzy, who's a really talented young woman. Has friends and everything, she's doing great. Elliot, not so much, he's a little disconnected, and he kind of lives in the shadow of his more athletic father and sister, and their dynamic really changes when they move into a house with a pool in the backyard that's really helping with Ray, the father's MS, but it's not just things getting better for the dad, weird creepy beings keep popping up in this pool and doing some crazy horrible things. And of course, the Amityville pool. That's basically what this movie feels like. So this film has an interesting idea, has an interesting concept. The roots of which these hauntings are happening are also some interesting ideas. This stretched out to feature length feels very clunky, and you have one of those really obnoxious scenes in a horror movie where one of the characters, which this one in particular is Eve the mother, goes off and talks to somebody else and exposition dumps the hell out of this movie and explains everything that's going on to you, and it's just like, okay, thank you, and also there's a lot of clunkiness to the writing as well. Some of the dialogue and like them trying to get across the themes of the movie, which I think this has good themes, and is a rock-solid family drama. I cared about this family, to be honest, but half their dialogue is really hard to take seriously. It's so clunky, it's so blunt, and you can tell these actors are really trying to sell it, and there are some moments where myself and the audience I was with watching this laughed out loud because how clunky and awkward some of the lines were. So not great. There are some moments that feel like it's legitimately trying to be funny. Like there shows up that is such a clown, played by Ben Sinclair, just to throw him some attention there, and then the woman who plays their realtor, she is so weird and quirky and funny, and I was just waiting for this woman to be like, oh, bless your heart, and all those kinds of things. It was just funny how she was engaged in this, but there's so many big gaps in logic that these characters have to go through, and there's so many convenient things that happen in this film to get you to the point where they hit the emotional beats they're trying to get to. And you're just like, oh my god, and it's just so obvious what they're trying to do in so many of these situations, and this film really struggles with that. I do think that the performances are good. I think Russell does a fine job here. There's some moments where like his Wyatt Russell reactions don't feel tonally right. There's one moment towards the very end of the film like the whole entire audience laughed because how out of place his line delivery sounded, and I love Carrie Condon. Especially after Banshee's Amina Sharon, she became one of my favorite actresses working today. I think her performance is really good, but she's saddled with such clunky dialogue and her American accent. You could tell the Irish is trying to come through like every 2 seconds. So it could be a little bit distracting. In terms of the direction, there's some really cool visuals, and I think all the elements of them using this pull, they use really well. Like angles of the camera, certain shots, just the visuals worked. I think the film builds up decent tension, but the issue is when it comes to the actual scares, they all feel very anticlimactic when they actually happen, and so this movie isn't that scary either. And I'm a big baby. I get scared easy watching movies, and I just kind of left this. I cared about the family. There's some cool visuals and stuff, but I wasn't really scared, and it's really clunky, so I don't think I really like this movie, and in the end, I just feel like there's just too many flaws to really like this film, but there's some elements that work about it. It's trying to have some fun at moments. There is a slow motion, like all jumping into the pool too. You've got Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest, and I'm just like, I love this song, but why is this in this movie? But in general, this is the first opening weekend horror movie of the year. You shouldn't have too high of expectations, but if you love horror and you want to go watch a horror movie, go check it out. But those are my thoughts on Night Swim. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe my channel.